Hey guys, this is James from Man Tripping on another MenWhoBlog virtual happy hour. And we're sitting here right now, thanks to the guys at DoorDash, sitting inside a Buffalo Wild Wings. So for those of you guys who want a virtual dining experience for your takeout life today, they're not sponsoring us. I just thought it was kind of a funky, cool thing. I wish we had you can go to DoorDash's website and go download that for a bunch of different restaurants like you do McDonald's and that kind of stuff. But since we're talking about craft beer today, and specifically Knoxville, Tennessee, I am sure that there is a Buffalo Wild Wings in Knoxville. And if there isn't, well, the guys in Knoxville should go clamor and retweet and all that kind of stuff because Buffalo Wild Wings is a pretty good place for getting some wings and some craft beer and some all fun stuff like that. So anyhow, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in. I just want to give a special shout out about something that Governor Newsom, our governor here in California, shared a little bit ago. I know all of us are really are going through a bunch of shit right now, but volunteering is something that's really, really important. And I'm sharing this for California because that's where Kevin and I and Ashley are. But I know that a bunch of other states are doing this kind of stuff too. So it's not enough to just simply do a virtual happy hour right here, raise a glass, and support our bartenders and raise money. All that is really important, and definitely we all need to continue doing that. But in California, they just launched a thing called Californians for All, which is a sign-up sheet where you can go and volunteer, not just for the basic stuff like you might think about, cleaning up a park and that kind of stuff, but volunteering in food banks, volunteering to deliver meals, tutoring, taking 211 calls, making face coverings, helping at a shelter facility, even just making calls to seniors and various other local opportunities. One of the things that's really cool about California, too, is our huge diversity. And not that other states aren't as diverse, but they also need people to help translate. It's not just enough for the governor to go speak in English, but we have literally hundreds of languages that are spoken here in California. And this is a place where you can go sign up by clicking other, and you can tell what language you speak. It's really, I don't want to harp on this too much, guys, but it's really, really important that we all join the community because this is a terrible time we're in right now. But we can all make it a little bit better by helping out our community. So make sure you go to CaliforniaVolunteers.ca.gov, and the hashtag for this campaign is Californians for All. So we'll be tweeting more stuff about that over the upcoming weeks and months. Hopefully it's not months, but even beyond this, there's always going to be somebody in need of help. So let's all come together and make this a little bit better for everybody in our community. So with that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Kevin, if Kevin is ready to talk a little bit about what's going on in his hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee. And I know this is a special episode for him, and plus he loves beer. So Kevin, what are we going to do? What are we doing today? Uh-oh. It would help if I unmuted your mic.
He muted me because I know I like to talk so much about my hometown, Knoxville, Tennessee, and I'm thrilled. Visit Knoxville introduced me to Zack with Knox Brew Tours, and I did a couple stories on pubclub.com about them, and we're thrilled as we started here a virtual happy hour to have Zack from Knoxville Brew Tours here on our show today. He's got to correct me, it's 18 or 19 craft breweries in Knoxville, which I had no idea about. And we also have on Evie, who is going to bring us some good old East Tennessee music. She's got a fiddle she's ready to play today. And folks, if you know the difference in a fiddle and a violin, it's the same instrument. It's a matter of how you play it. I do want to start off today with some bad beer news. Oktoberfest in Munich, the beer drinking lovers capital of the world, has officially been canceled today. The officials just got together, the mayor and the chancellor of Bavaria got together, and they just said it's a sad day, but they can't have it this year because of the coronavirus. So unfortunately, Munich Oktoberfest is canceled this year. So I had to start off with some bad news, but I'll make that up because we always like to start off with a bar joke. And I think my mom's watching, by the way. So Mom, I tried to keep it as clean as possible. So so here we go. So a guy goes in, picks up a girl at a party, goes back to his place, and the first thing he does, he walks in and he washes his hands. Then they disrobe, and he washes his hands again. And the girl said, "Well, you must be a dentist." He said, "That's correct. How did you know?" She said, "Well, I noticed you wash your hands a few times, so you seem to be really used to it." He said, "Well, yeah, that's true. That's very perceptive of you." Well, they go off and go to bed. And a little bit later, the girl turns around to the guy and looks at him and says, "You know what? I bet you're a really, really good dentist." He said, "Oh, well, what makes you say that?" She said, "Because I didn't feel a thing."
But
Okay, James, you get a better shot.
Well, I think that was a good. I'm not sure I can do any better. And by the way, Zach, I muted everybody initially so that there was no background noise. But there you go. Because I was like, I can't unmute you now that we're back in the thing. So we're all good. So anyhow, yes, Tony Perez, COVID-19 does suck, but delivery makes it a little bit better. Unfortunately, we couldn't deliver some Knoxville beer. I'm looking forward to that at some point. But we do have some swinging Friar Ale from Ballast Point here in San Diego that apparently is not a twist off.
No.
Luckily, I come prepared.
All right.
But while I'm working with this bottle cap, I figured, oh man, this is a terrible. While working with the bottle cap, I will tell my joke if I can pull it up here. Uh-oh, where is it?
And we would like to welcome Pub Club and Ashley again back to the show, by the way.
Hey.
Are we going to enjoy a mask today?
So my joke is, a man walks into a bar and says, "I'd like 7 double whiskeys, please." Bartender nods and starts pouring 7 glasses of whiskey. As soon as the first glass is ready, the man starts chugging one glass after the other. The bartender looks at him dumbfounded and says, "Why are you drinking so fast?" The man answers, "Well, you do the same as me if you had what I have." "So what do you have?" asked the bartender. The man looks at him and replies, "Not a single penny."
Oh. All right. I kind of like that one.
So with that, I normally we'd have some whiskey. Today we have some beer. So I'm going to drink this. This is from Ballast Point Brewing, one of our many breweries here in San Diego. Also in honor of the fact that commiseration, I don't know what it is. Padres are still undefeated this season. So so there's some good news. Unfortunately, and they are tied at the top of the leaderboard with the Dodgers. So I guess good for LA people too.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So anyhow,
for me to throw a joke in there real quick?
Absolutely, go ahead.
What does a double IPA and a drunk forklift driver have in common?
They'll both wreck your palate.
Yeah!
I feel like I should have let some time to think about that, but no. One of my favorite beers. So I'm a hophead, and I absolutely love as hoppy as you can possibly get it. But I've also learned that I can't drink a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of one of those things. I'll go to get a 4-ounce taste or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. Then I'll get like a nice size big whatever or growler. I'm like, what the hell? Like a 12% alcohol beer that will literally destroy your palate. You can't do that. So anyhow, Green Flash Brewing, which I still like them. They've had better days, but they were definitely one of the pioneers here on the West Coast. Had a beer. It was a triple IPA that had an insane IBU. And it was called Palate Wrecker because it literally would wreck your palate. So anyhow, a little bit of beer humor, a little bit of stuff. So I'll let Kevin, if you can introduce everybody, and then we'll come back to Zach to tell his joke. Or he just told his joke. Well, if you've got another joke, and I guess this is stronger than I thought. Although, or maybe I'm still messed up from the Firefly from the last show.
I don't know. But let me just first of all tell a little about my hometown, Knoxville, Tennessee, so everyone knows where it is. It's in East Tennessee. It's adjacent to the Great Smoky Mountains. My favorite spot. It's closed now. My sister. Oh, by the way, happy anniversary, my sister and her husband. They want to go to Cades Cove today to celebrate their anniversary, but it's closed. Cades Cove is a really beautiful place for picnics. They have a loop. You can take a bike ride. It's beautiful. Knoxville is the home of the Tennessee Valley Authority. It used to be home of JFG Coffee. I don't know if it still is or not. But it's got, I don't know how many lakes it has, but there are lakes all around Knoxville. I remember as a kid going water skiing, and there's a lot of recreation on the lakes, boating, water skiing. A lot of people like to go out on a pontoon boat. Of course, there's the Tennessee River, which is going to lead me right up to Neyland Stadium, one of only 3 college stadiums on the water in the United States. They have the Volunteer Navy where people pull up on their boats, tie up for the weekend, go to UT football games. And folks, if you're looking for a thing to do in Knoxville or bucket list item, college football in Knoxville is awesome. The pregame ceremony, there's nothing like it in all of college football. The band walks through the campus. They stop and pay homage to the Hill. They actually turn to the Hill, which is the original part of campus, and play a salute to the Hill. Then they march into the stadium and split the T. And man, I didn't go to UT. I'm not going to tell Zack and Evie where I went to school because they're paying up, but I will tell you that. Oh, you will, trust me. And it's not Florida. So anyway, your former coach, who is now an assistant at my school, once called it that red team.
Oh.
But Knoxville's a great city. It's a beautiful city. It's in East Tennessee. Zack's got his UT football. And I'll tell you what, I root for UT every game of the year except one. Oh, he's got So we have PubPub at Ashley on, who is the one of the brand ambassadors for my website, pubpub.com. And we'll have Evie on, and we have Zack on. So Zack and Evie, you just tell, and Ashley, just tell about a minute about yourself. And then Evie would like you to play one of those good old East Tennessee mountain songs on that freaking fiddle. I can't wait to hear that. So you want to start, Zack?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Zack Roskop. I started the Knox Brew Tours just over 5 years ago. Knox Brew Tours right here, with the logo, was the foundation of the love of people, the love of Knoxville, and the love of beer. We wanted to create experiences where people get a chance to experience beer behind the scenes, backstage, in a new and a different and a unique way. Earlier, you mentioned that we have 19 breweries in Knoxville. We actually created a website on our page called The State of the Brewnion, where we give you every brewery in Knox County and every county touching Knox County, including breweries in planning, breweries in concept, and breweries coming soon. So we just love beer, love people, love Knoxville, and have somehow found a way to make a living teaching people and educating people about the brewing process. And it's been a dream come true.
Cool. Well, Evie, let's go to Ashley first, and then we'll have Evie introduce herself and then play I can't wait to hear that fiddle. Go ahead, Ashley. How about Ashley?
Hi guys, Couple of Ashley here. Just making it's ironic actually because it's a beer episode, but a buddy of mine handed me off a handkerchief and he wanted me to make a mask out. I know it's just Miller Lite. IPA is my jam. But anyways, how cute is this turning out? Like, anyways, I'm a flight attendant. I've been working with Kevin for 2 years and traveling all over the place and doing all kinds of sampling, and I don't really know what else to say. Just happy to be here. Thanks for letting me be a part of this.
Cool. Evie?
So I had to go find my this is like my old lady vest. I found out a thrift store here in Knoxville.
Hey,
figured I'd want to wear it too.
The Bama Boy needs to get inundated with the orange thing from Knoxville, so go ahead.
So my name is Evie Andrus. I'm a musician here in the Knoxville region. I have lived in and around East Tennessee most of my adult life, but and I actually didn't go to UT either. I went to East Tennessee State and minored in bluegrass.
Well, I have some cousins in Johnson City, and they actually beat LSU in basketball this year. I think they would have done well in March Madness.
Yeah, man, they got a good ball team for sure. Basketball, it is. Football's pretty good, getting the better too, but
almost speed superior as well.
And yeah, so if y'all are ready, I guess I'll just play you a little tune.
Hey, real quick, Evie, I want to tell them a quick story about you and your band Buffalo Fiasco. So Evie is a part of an amazing bluegrass band called Buffalo Fiasco. And every time they perform at least one song, they perform the whole song with everyone wearing a buffalo head on their. It's absolutely hilarious and is amazing. Do you have the buffalo head handy? This is ridiculous. So
Oh
there is an amazing brewery in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, and it's called the Lily Pad. And I went to the Lily Pad for an entire weekend in the middle of nowhere for my birthday, and we booked Buffalo Fiasco to play in the middle of this campground. It was a really great special event. But here's the funny story. I told someone we were going in the middle of nowhere, and the response was, "When you hear banjos, turn around." And I said, "Are you kidding me? I hired the banjo." That's exactly what I'm running towards the banjo, not away from the banjo. So Buffalo Fiasco is an excellent band, and Evie's super talented. I look forward to hearing you play some more music.
So I'm looking for the photos of Buffalo. I see Buffalo Fiasco photos, but I don't see. I see Capri Sun. I see fiddles. I see whatever in God's name this is.
That's from the inside of the. That's in the visitor center at the Scandinavian Park in North Dakota.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't actually get to go inside.
Oh, well, then you too could have had that photo.
Well, now I'm going to have to go back to North Dakota. I know we're talking about Tennessee here, but North Dakota is a lot more fun than people give credit for. So is there a picture of you wearing buffalo heads in here?
I'm going to find it. I'm looking through my phone right now. I'm going to find it.
It is somewhere. I can't remember where. I think there's one on our Instagram.
Is there? Okay.
From Halloween.
Well, I tell you what, guys, I'm going to go let Evie perform while I look for this picture that she probably doesn't want me to find.
Oh, no, you can totally find it. I've got one here in a second. If we can't find it, I'll get it.
Alrighty, so you're on.
All right, here we go.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Wow. Man, I'll tell you what, I got some chills of that. My East Tennessee heritage came just flying back to me. That Zack, thanks for getting Evie on. Evie, you have a compliment from a conga player who may be on our show later. He's watching on YouTube, Gary Buffett. He's blown away by your talents. That's fantastic.
And look what I found. So even better than that, I don't know if this is going to play properly because I know we had audio problems in the past. But if you don't mind, I'm going to do a little bit of a double header here. So that was an awesome song you just did. But I don't know if you can. I don't know if this tops it with the. Well,
You can't see it, but I am stomping my feet below this table right now.
Now, if you think that's something, you should see the gator suit I have to fiddle in.
Oh.
so
We like to have fun, I'll tell you that.
I think that's the first time we've had a fiddle playing buffalo on this live stream.
I think
So
that's a virtual happy hour first. That's for sure.
So we've got baseball playing Friars, we've got fiddle playing Buffalo, and I've heard there's some other awesome wacky stuff that might be going on in Knoxville also. Is that true, Zach?
Oh yeah. Are you referring to the celebration buses? Have you heard about this yet?
I'm just assuming that a town like Knoxville, that it is as close to Nashville, is close to the wacky stuff goes on in North Carolina, that you're right in between the two of them. There's got to be some funky stuff going on there.
So, all right. So as you can imagine right now, because of the COVID-19 outbreak, we're not able to operate our guided tours like normal. So that part of our business is basically completely shut down. But in the meantime, we've been doing food and beer delivery for our, hey Andy, we've been doing beer and food delivery for our breweries, but we just launched a thing called the Celebration Bus, where basically if you have a graduation or an anniversary or a birthday or anything that you normally would be celebrating at this time that you can't because of the COVID-19, myself and some friends of mine are driving to people's houses. And from a safe distance, we have a generator-powered speaker. We're blasting music at them, and we're dancing.
Apparently the FBI is out after the party bus.
Because they've been
And it's crazy. Am I gone? Am I back?
You're back.
You're back. I was just saying the FBI interrupted you because they were like, "This is just too much fun. We can't have people having fun during quarantine."
We went and wished a 2-year-old and a 15-year-old a happy birthday today, and it included a dancing panda suit with a megaphone, as you can see, maybe right here on the video. Let me see this again.
Is that on your Instagram?
Oh,
no, just on my phone. I haven't posted it yet. There's been a bunch of shenanigans like this. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, I tell you, Zach, you must have a lot of fans. So Knoxville beer must be something special.
Oh, it is so special, and something that makes it really unique is where we live. We have so much going on in Knoxville, and there's anything that you could possibly want to pursue, we've got it. Now, it may not be, if you love live music, sure, Coldplay or the Rolling Stones or U2 are not going to come to a concert in Knoxville. But we also don't have all the crazy traffic and all the crazy crime and
or internet connections, apparently.
I can finish for him.
Yeah, Evie, what do you think our Knoxville beer community is so special? I know you're a big part of it with the music doing.
Yeah, man. One of the funnest things that I've from the music side is that all of them love having live music around too, and really not only love it but support the artists and the community around them. Whether it's having visual art from local artists up on the walls, and then they really just are a community too. You know, they work really well together and collaborate. There's a lot of breweries that do cross collaborations for special releases, and oftentimes it's not weird to go out to one craft brew place and see the brewer from another place hanging out there because he just wants to have some of their stuff too. So there's a really strong community together, people that just are respectful and helping each other, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, between musicians and artists and brewers and foodies, like we're just all a big family, and we all almost 99% of small businesses in Knoxville are not people who moved here to start a business, but people who live here and love here and wanted to invest in here, like creating something they were passionate about, and people have received it, and it's been really, really awesome to be a part of it. It's big enough to have all the things, but small enough to keep you honest. And your family, you could become best friends with a person waiting in line at the grocery store like that. And if you hate hugging people, don't come to Knoxville, because you're going to get hugged by strangers all the time.
Well, I know at
Mostly
UT
me, probably.
I love how
if you show up at UT games without any Jack Daniels, they'll give you some. I know that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So that you have to have that at UT games. Zach, can you explain, because most of the breweries, Knoxville's a little like Los Angeles, where I just came from, then it's very spread out in many ways. Yeah. But there's also talk about the downtown craft beer scene, because that's really, if you were to go to one place, that would kind of be the center point. Is that correct?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. We do have, we'll just say 18 breweries. My definitions get a little technical because I'm a geek like that, but we've got 18 breweries in Knoxville, and 14 of them are within a 1 mile radius, which is absolutely crazy. Downtown Knoxville, just north of downtown, just south, just east, right around there, they're all within about a mile and a half, which can be a lot of fun. They're super walkable, they're super bikeable, there's a lot of public transportation. With us on Knox Brew Tours, we're able to hit 4 breweries in 3 hours because of their location. But it's really great. You could actually see another brewery from the brewery you're at and just connect the dots and visit them all downtown, which is a lot of fun. I think a big part of that is that downtown Knoxville has changed a lot in the past 5 years, and that is that it's growing, and it's grown so much that as we start to get a lot of that real estate hardcore downtown, we start to slowly expand. I have a joke that 9 out of 10 breweries are within 100 feet of a train track or a CrossFit, but that's because they're most traditionally found in areas that are not as high in real estate. And so we have all these breweries right around downtown Knoxville that have created sort of these cultural epicenters, if you will, because what ends up happening is the brewery opens up in the middle.
Let me jump in and say, to give you a little logistical layout of the area. Downtown is very close to University of Tennessee. You can actually walk there. It goes along the Tennessee River. It's just down from the Hyatt. And the founder of Knoxville, James K. Polk, they have a little area there, grassy area for him if you want to take a little picnic out there. But all the craft breweries that he's talking about downtown are all really conveniently located, University of Tennessee, in that area. So if you're looking like, where do I go and stay in Knoxville? I think the downtown area is probably the best spot for you. There's a street called Kingston Pike, which goes out to West Knoxville. There's a lot of stuff down that way too. But if you want to stay in one place, then make it downtown Knoxville area, or at least in the general vicinity UT area. And is Zach back on?
He is not back on. We're still waiting for him to come back, but I had a chance.
I'm sorry, James. Go ahead.
I had a chance to check out some of the stuff on visitknoxville.com, which is their CVB, and it looks like I didn't realize. Obviously there's a river because every major city has a river, I suppose. But it looks like there's some good fishing downtown. And what's that big stadium? Is that the University of Tennessee or which?
Yeah. Stadium. Is it 100,000? 103,000? Yeah, every Saturday, 6 times a year on Saturdays. Put that on your bucket list, folks. You like to do some pub club type traveling, and University of Tennessee pregame tradition and the games itself are great. Just don't wear an Alabama shirt, and they'll give you that hug. They'll give you some Jack Daniels. Pubclub.com has a complete guide to the tailgate scene in Knoxville for the UT games. So you start early, you go down you do Calhoun's on Friday night, then you go to check out the Vol Navy on Saturday. You walk up to the stadium. You go to, I believe it's Lot C right next to the stadium. Great tailgate scene. And then when the band walks through the campus, does that salute to the hill, and walks into the stadium, splits the tee, I mean, man, I get chills just talking about that. So, and that's a great time to go to the Smoky Mountains too. Actually, the fall is fantastic, beautiful. The leaves are changing. It's a beautiful time to go to Knoxville, which maybe by the time we're able to actually fully travel again. So definitely keep Knoxville on your radar.
I see. Visit Knoxville there, but they I don't know if it's through them or somewhat. But if you guys come visit in Knoxville and want to get out to the Smokies, there's even a shuttle that'll take you from Knoxville to the Smokies and back.
I didn't know that.
Anyways,
my sister watching. Does she know that? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a newer service, but there's lots of ways to get around East Tennessee if you just come on down and hang out with us.
Now, see, what I would love to do is I'd love to fly into to Nashville, pick up a Nissan Titan made in Tennessee. I think it's made in Tennessee, or at least headquartered in Tennessee. Yeah. And take a road trip, pick up some barbecue, pick up maybe some Jack Daniels. But Tennessee whiskey is not just Jack Daniels for all y'all that think that that's the way it is. Tennessee whiskey is an actual full style. So you've got Dickel, you've got Franklin, I think Franklin Distilling just outside, or Franklin, something just out of Nashville. Zack, I know we're talking about brew stuff, but does Knoxville have any distilleries too?
Absolutely, we do. And another thing that's really interesting is there's been a big boom of moonshine across the United States as well. Most of that coming from Gatlinburg, Tennessee, which is right outside of Great Smoky Mountain National Park. But here in Knoxville, we have two distilleries located downtown. One is called Knox Whiskey Works, and Knox Whiskey Works, they do a lot of great stuff. They have a coffee liqueur that's fantastic. It's one of their flagships. And then we have what I call a little bit of a more hipster distiller. And when this is a good thing, they just like to get a little bit funky with it. They've got 3 or 4 different types of gin, and they're called postmodern spirits. And what's really great about these distilleries is that they're both doing great things, but sort of in very different ways. So whatever your taste is, we've got something for you. And what's really funny is they're on the same street. They're both located on Jackson Avenue as well. And they do a lot of collaboration with our breweries. Almost a lot of our barrel-aged beers will often come from barrels from Postmodern Spirits or Knox Whiskey Works right here in Knoxville as well. So that's really cool to see that happen.
Now, are most of the whiskey distilleries, are they following kind of the Tennessee-style whiskey, or are they doing a little bit of everything?
Not in Knoxville. The ones in Knoxville are doing more gins, vodkas, a little bit of whiskey, a little bit of bourbon, a lot of different flavored liqueurs, and a lot of different variety. I guess, we've got some Tennessee distilleries that are doing such a good job with the whiskey that we've got some of the smaller guys who are doing some more craft, niche stuff to kind of change it up a little bit.
Now, I know moonshine is more the hill folk, if you will, and a little bit in the mountains. But you guys are pretty close to the mountains too. So is there any good moonshine places?
Let me say this, and I'll let Evie respond because she might have an opinion on this as well. If you can buy it at a store with a label on it,
it's not.
It ain't moonshine. They're calling it moonshine, and it may legally count, but unless you get it out of someone's trunk in a mason jar, it ain't moonshine. And you can do that. Yeah. If I tell you, I might get kicked off the internet again.
So you're saying the stuff in the gift shop on the highway that is in a pretty bottle with a nice wrapped thing, that's not actual real moonshine?
It is legally moonshine. It will get the job done, but it's not as authentic as it could be. That's all I'll say.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to having a off the record, no cameras allowed kind of experience. We'll do some fishing because I know there's some awesome trout fishing in Carolina side of the mountains, and it's the same darn water. So I'm sure the water coming down the other side of the mountains has some amazing fishing too. So
we can definitely make that happen. Evie, anything you want to add about the moonshine game here in East Tennessee?
Well, like you said, if I can buy it and walk around with it in a bag, then it ain't really real moonshine. In my opinion. I mean, and I say
if you got a receipt, if you have a receipt for your moonshine, it ain't moonshine.
That's a big thing.
I think that might be the quote of the day.
at some of the tourist shine places, and they're doing good stuff too, man. And but I also have experienced the real, and it ain't no comparison in my book.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Putt Putt Ashley, she's with the state that begins with a T. The state university is Orange. So Putt Putt Ashley, how does it compare to your home state of Texas?
Well, I was just about to ask, do y'all have the moonshine with the cherries in it?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you get drunk off of eating a cherry. They're like, I'm not even kidding. You don't even drink the moonshine. You just like eat a cherry and you're just like buzz right away. It's like insane.
I think everywhere has figured out that cherries and a high proof alcohol are a great combo. In fact, I was down
strawberries are pretty good too.
I was down in Lafayette, Louisiana for Mardi Gras, and they actually had that as we ordered two 24-ounce daiquiris, which, by the way, that's a lot of daiquiri. And they said, would you like some cherries? It's only $1 or only $2, whatever it was. So we said, sure. And they gave us this container full of Everclear cherries with an Everclear shot in the middle. Ooh. And it was tasty. So I can only imagine what your moonshine cherries would taste like.
Oh my gosh, they're great.
They're dangerous.
They're very dangerous. Yeah, it's just a cherry, and you're like, it tastes like alcohol. And then, next thing you know, you're on your ass,
Well, what could possibly go wrong with James and Kevin drinking moonshine and eating moonshine cherries?
Listening to good old music like Evie. James, I'm ready to hear her play again.
Well, first, the folks at Visit Knoxville, who unfortunately couldn't join us for the live stream, but they're following along there on Facebook. She said, loving this, but the founder of Knoxville is James White. And you can park in his court and walk to Nyland. And what is Nyland? Or Neyland?
Neyland. That's the stadium there.
Ah, okay.
Named after General Bob Neyland, a great football coach, University of Tennessee, general under General MacArthur in the, I believe, World War II and the Korean War. Well, it had to be World War II. Under General MacArthur, and named Neyland Stadium. UT folks are like this. Bear Bryant never beat General Neyland as a player or a coach. So you guys are like that. It's been named Neyland Stadium, and I don't know who Shields Walken is. I call it Shields Watkins Field, but I don't know who that is. Maybe Visit Knoxville help me on that one too. Correct me on that one too. That's about a little history.
Let's kick it over to Evie. I'm sorry, is it Evie or Evie? I get that mixed up.
It's all good. Story of my life. Evie, short for Evelyn, if that helps you remember.
Okay. It makes me smile. Like I just love.
So let's kick it over to Evie, and then when we get back, I want to ask Zach and Kevin and Evie, if you were planning a tailgate party for a football game in Knoxville, what kind of local barbecue and specialties, and of course, what kind of beer would you be serving? But first, let's get some more from Evie. So away we go.
So I figured I can't come on a beer show and not do a song about some beer. And this year's one of my favorite songs about beer. Well, in some of my songs, I've casually mentioned the fact that I like to drink beer. This little song is more to the point. So roll out the barrel and lend me your ear. I like beer, makes me a jolly good fellow. I like beer, helps me unwind, and sometimes I find it makes me feel mellow. Makes him feel mellow. Well, whiskey's too rough, champagne costs too much. Vodka puts my mouth in gear. This little refrain should help me explain. As a matter of fact, I like beer. My wife often frowns when we're out on the town, wearing a suit and necktie. sipping vermouth, and she thinks I'm uncouth. So yell as the waiter goes by. I like beer, makes me a jolly good fellow. I like beer, helps me unwind. Sometimes it makes me feel mellow. Makes me feel mellow. Well, whiskey's too rough. Champagne costs too much. Knock up with my mountain gear. This little refrain should help me explain. As a matter of fact, I like beer. Woo!
I like that song.
Well, I like beer too. So let's do a cheers to craft beer, no matter where you are, but especially those craft breweries in Knoxville and our hometown favorites in Southern California as well. But awesome job, Evie. That was a perfect song for the occasion.
That was great. Cheers.
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 Cheers to beers.
So, with that being said, I know Zack was sending me some private messages, all that kind of stuff. But so, what is the last days of Autumn Brewery?
Okay, so there is a great brewery in Knoxville and by the way, we have a lot of great breweries that do a lot of great stuff. But because you mentioned Tennessee football, they were the first ones that came to mind because they are not only a brewery, but they're also a barbecue joint as well. So you can get pork, brisket, ribs. They do a shrimp boil every Friday. They do specialty tacos on Tuesday. So if you're wanting to get some East Tennessee flavor on a Tennessee tailgate right before a football game, this is a great spot to do it. And if you happen to also be a Packers fan, as weird as this may sound, the owner is from Wisconsin, and every single Sunday they watch Packers game, and there's over 200 people there, and it's absolutely nuts, and they cook for everybody, and it's just a lot of fun. It's actually what I'm drinking right now, Last Days of Autumn Brewery. This is their pre-pro, which is their pre-prohibition ale, which was inspired by beer that you would have found prior to Prohibition. That style of beer that you would have found uses a little bit of that corn to give it some taste, make it taste a little bit more like lager, but it's still technically an ale. And as you can see, during the COVID-19 outbreak, all of our breweries in Knoxville are finding ways to get beer to people, and they're having to do it with packaged cans, which don't always have a fancy label. But that's kind of what we're seeing, a lot of this simple labeling all over the U.S. as a mad dash to try to get beer to the people.
I kind of dig that simple labeling. It's just very clean, and looks like we just lost Pub Club at Ashley, so she'll be back, I'm sure. But
to get a beer, I think.
So I have never been to a Knoxville tailgate, but I was at a tailgate for the Titans up in Nashville, and for those of you all who have only seen tailgates in places like Southern California, Tennessee is kind of special.
Oh yeah.
And between the barbecue and the beer and just there's a love of football. And I think it's actually, to be fair, it's an SEC kind of thing. But the football games that I've seen in other parts of the South rival, if not exceed, what we have at the NFL. So what kind of barbecue are you guys cooking up? And is it ribs? Is it chicken? Is it pork? Is it everything?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, Evie's right. What's really fascinating about Knoxville is we're sort of a melting pot of barbecue. We have influence from North Carolina, from Memphis, from Atlanta, a little bit from Texas. So when you go to a barbecue joint in Knoxville, there's no telling what their sauce of choice or their meat of choice is going to be. It's kind of all over the place, which I think makes it kind of fun.
So you seeing any Northern Alabama style sauces up there too?
I'm sure somebody. Sauce? Oh yeah, we've got some white sauces around. Evie, what do you think about the barbecue here?
Man, like Zack says, there's something for everyone as far as what styles you like, and So if I was picking up to go to the game, I would have to go down to Sweet Peas downtown Dive and get me some sweet peas and then some of their lima beans and some banana pudding.
Banana pudding.
Banana pudding in the Southern. My dad loved banana pudding. You know, and by the way, I want to say the prices in Knoxville. You know, I've been living in California so long. We go back. My family, we're going to go here. We're going to go to all-you-can-eat barbecue at Buddy's Barbecue. I'm like, okay, you know, California prices, you know, like $25 or something. $10.
Holy cow!
All you can eat. They bring the ribs and tell me to go away. They're fantastic ribs, and that includes all your side dishes, everything. They bring hush puppies around just constantly. We can't get hush puppies out here in California. So some of the prices in Knoxville are laughably ridiculous. It is not a expensive destination at all.
Speaking of happy hours, a friend of mine from Brooklyn was visiting, and I took him to Balter Beer Works, which is another one of our great downtown brew pubs. And we sat at the bar, and we got 2 chicken sliders and 2 beers during happy hour. And he gets his ticket, and it says it's like $9.83, I think, with tax.
Wow.
And he looks at me and he goes, dude, I love going to breweries with you. And I said, why'd you say that? And he goes, because we always get hooked up. We never pay full price, like whatever. And I looked at him and I said, no, dude, that is full price. 2 chicken sliders, 2 16-ounce beers, $9 during happy hour here in Knoxville, Tennessee.
That's pretty awesome. Here in California, especially, I love the folks at Ballast Point. I have some friends who work there, but they have jacked the price of especially Sculpin through the roof, and they're getting it.
Oh yeah.
But even on happy hour, Sculpin's like $5 for a pint, and it's a damn good beer. So I'm willing to pay it. But
yeah, has anything changed with Ballast Point since they were acquired again back to that smaller brewery out of Chicago?
You know, to be honest, I haven't had a chance to talk to any of my friends over there, but I'm sure that things have changed. But then again, the entire world's changed now. So
yeah, that's true.
I should reach out to them and have them on, because they do good stuff. And like this, interesting. Right before the show, I was talking with Kevin. This Friar's Ale is actually made by Ballast Point, and I said, you know, it's a great ballpark beer. And Kevin's like, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, well, it represents San Diego perfectly, because it's hoppy, and it has the sports tie-in, but it's also a relatively cheap beer. I mean, it doesn't taste bad, but it was priced perfectly for a ballpark where you're like, okay, well, I can buy a Sculpin for, I don't know what the number is. Let's say $7, $7.50 for a small Sculpin, or I can buy this for $5. And at the beer fest at the ballparks, which, by the way, y'all need to come out here to South Carolina, go to South Carolina too, but to Southern California and go to Petco Park, because we have some of the most awesome craft beer selection in the entire league in our stadium. But
I would love to.
It's just a great beer that just kind of hits that point where you're like, you know what, I just want a beer. You know, for the technical brewers, this is not necessarily the most technical beer, but if you just want a cold beer on a hot summer day while you're at the beach or watching football or not football but baseball, then it's a great choice. So
we have this thing to that point, James. We call the beer cycle. So most people's introduction to beer is this macro light lager, and then they get into like an amber or a red, and then they start liking brown ales, and then porters, and then stouts, and then they drink a Sierra Nevada pale ale, and they get bit by the hot bug, and then they start getting into IPAs, and then double IPAs, and then all of a sudden they want sours and bourbon barrel aged triple doppelbock oats with blah 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 poured through a camel's fur, like whatever craziness, and then eventually they get back to the beginning of a cycle, and they're like, "Damn it, I just want a beer."
Absolutely. I had that exact cycle. I shared the story before, but I was talking to a guy from Carl Strauss Brewing, and they have a lager or a pilsner. I'm not sure. It was a relatively light beer, and I kind of made fun. This was about 3 years ago or so, and I kind of made fun. I'm like, this is San Diego. What are you doing with a pilsner or a lager, or whatever? He goes, well, you ever been to the beach where it's 90 degrees and you just want a cold beer? He goes, yeah. Of course. Are you drinking that triple IPA at the beach when it's 90 degrees? I said, hell no. Because, well, that's why we made this.
Exactly.
And it's the same with NASCAR. I'm sure you guys being in Tennessee are NASCAR fans, or at least or some kind of racing fans. And you know, Busch Beer and Coors Light is shit beer. There's nobody who can tell me that it's a good beer. But when it's ice cold and you're sitting in the stands for 6 hours watching cars go around a track at 200 miles an hour,
I'll take 2.
Yeah, exactly. So with that note, Tom Fischer joined us a little bit. So
he's from running a little late. Good to see you guys. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Hey.
We're doing great. We're loving it. Have you had a chance to hear Evie play that fiddle? Man, she's awesome.
She's gonna play a fiddle for us. No, the Brew Tours sound great. I've been listening a little bit.
Oh, thanks.
And I think we're gonna kick it over to Evie for another song, if she's willing and able. But for those of you guys who are watching along, definitely make sure you comment on Facebook and let us know if you have any questions, because I've been told that Zack is not just the impresario of tours for beers. You're actually really involved in the beer scene and promoting the craft brew in Tennessee, or Knoxville specifically. Is that right?
Yes, sir. The Knoxville Ale Trail. Absolutely.
Cool. So we'll be talking a little bit about that when we come back. But thank you, Tom, for joining us. And Evie, let's kick it to you, and then we will also wrap up with talking a little bit about Ashley and some of the masks that she is making.
All right, y'all ready for a fiddle tune?
Let's do it. That was awesome.
Very nice.
Man. So, Tom, what do you know about Knoxville, Tennessee?
Well, it's not terribly far. See, I'm Zack. I'm on the border of Indiana and Kentucky, and I have been to Knoxville a couple of times the last few years. We went down to we passed through there on our way to somewhere else, and we went to the I think we went to a distillery there. I can't remember, but we had some cool whiskey bars, and we went downtown. We were at a real cool mixology bar. It seems like it's really it's always been a cool city, but it seems like it's really making a cool kind of comeback the last 5 or 6 years. And of course, I went there when I was a kid to the World's Fair, so that structure's still up there.
Yeah, 1982 World's Fair. Yeah.
Yep, that was it. Do you remember that one too? Did you go to that one?
I did not.
I didn't think.
I have a funny story about that. I'll somewhat date myself, but I took some of my students from Alabama up there. And remember the German beer house when they did the chicken dance? And my friends walk in and they say, that's your mother over there, I think. She was doing the chicken dance, dancing on the picnic table. And they're like, you don't realize your mother's doing the chicken dance, dancing on the table. I said, oh, hey, Mom. So the Knoxville Fair was a lot of fun. It was actually maybe Knoxville can provide a little more information on this, but it was the first World's Fair to make money in like ever or something like that. So that was profitable, a World's Fair.
And you can still see that structure. What's the structure called?
The Sun Sphere.
The Sun
You
Sphere.
can actually go in it too.
It's really cool.
Do they have craft beer and wine festivals on that grounds now? I don't know what's on that grounds, but if they don't, they're missing an opportunity. They do.
They do, yeah, for sure. There's a couple of things that happen on that.
The
Knoxville Brew
Fest
Fest takes place in the base of the Sun Sphere.
Next time I'm that way, Zack, I'd love to see one of your brew tours. And we've been thrilled with how many distilleries have popped up in Tennessee, craft guys, and the big ones and craft ones both. There's the Tennessee Whiskey Trail now, which I'm sure you work with some of these guys, or some of the bourbon beers you talked about. Whose bourbon barrels do you use for the aging? I heard you say a little something about that.
A lot of postmodern spirits and Knox Whiskey Works.
Nice. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
It's only
I'd
about
love to have
35
you
hours.
next time you're in Knoxville, show you around, and we can drink some liquor too. I could probably drink anybody under the table with beer, but I'm a lightweight when it comes to the brown stuff.
I like beer too, so that's good.
Hey, for those of you who are mentioning wondering what the Sun Sphere is, I just messed something up.
I see Sun
So
Sphere.
there's the sun sphere right there.
That's
I've never
from the
been.
inside of it.
And then here's the outside of the sun
Really
sphere.
beautiful.
And
Oh,
I just resized my screen the wrong. There we go.
If any of you happen to be Simpsons fans, their sun sphere is actually in an episode of The Simpsons, and they go up inside the sun sphere, and it's a wig factory, and nobody has any idea why.
Yep.
I don't know with the Simpsons, honestly.
Well, here should we play that?
Clip.
If you go to YouTube and type in Simpsons sun sphere, I guarantee you something will show up. There it is.
Oh wow, there it is.
Knoxville Wig Outlet. The internet is amazing.
Wow.
It's actually cool. About 1 month, you can actually, if you're driving the interstate or you're down, you'll see repellers, people who are rappelling from the top in order to clean the windows on the outside. It's pretty cool.
That sounds like a pretty cool job.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that cool for more than like 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
so anyhow, well, that really killed the conversation right there. But I had no idea. You know, I think at this point, The Simpsons has been on for what, like 79 years or something. So there's probably a little bit of everything on there. But
We're running out of material. They got to start talking about Knoxville.
but no, you know, on Man Tripper, we like to talk about a lot of guys' weekends and mancations, that kind of stuff. And I think it's interesting because there's a lot of cities that come to the top of the list when it comes to where you're going to go. I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, let's go to Denver for beer, or let's go to Chicago for steaks, or let's go to New York for pizza or whatever. But you know, it's interesting. The more you guys talk about Knoxville, the more I realize it kind of reinforces the fact that there's a lot of, and I'm going to say second tier, but I don't necessarily mean that in a negative way.
Right.
There's a lot of second tier cities out there who are perfect for kind of where we're going in the next 6 months to a year. That, you know, at a certain point, I don't feel comfortable going on an airplane for quite a while, but I would love to do a road trip. And I know, Ashley, that's to your chagrin. I saw your as much as I would love to see Ashley, you know, back at work. I think that the first step is going to be road trips, and it sounds like you know, Knoxville will be a great place for a road trip. So definitely want to, you know, shout out to those kind of cities, because there's no other Knoxville out there, clearly. But I think that there's a lot of cities that exist within, you know, an hour, 2 hours of a lot of different population centers that you guys can enjoy and visit and have a great time in, especially college town. I think college towns already have kind of the intrinsic. You got the bars, you've got some funky fooderies, you've got some, you know, football and that kind of stuff. Maybe it won't be a football game for quite a while, but what are the kind of things that right now people can do to support the local beer scene, the local bartenders, and also the local tourism? Now, clearly, you're not doing tours right now, but what are some of the things people can do to help that industry?
Well, a big one is obviously to buy to-go beer and to get beer delivered when available. That is a big one. Purchasing merchandise, purchasing gift cards, all the things that you normally spend money on. But in regards to supporting our bartenders, maybe tip on the items that you wouldn't normally tip on, like to-go beer or merchandise. All of our breweries in Knoxville are creating tip share pools to share with all the bartenders, some of them who are still employed and some of them who aren't, because they want to give back. We also had a campaign for a short period of time where we were asking people, and this has been working, if you look at yourself or your spouse or your partner or whatever and you say, hey, tonight we would normally have gone out and gotten a beer. A lot of people have been sharing bartenders' Venmo accounts, and so you decide to stay in, but would you consider still tipping that bartender even though you didn't go to their bar? And a lot of people are doing that, and it's been really beautiful and kind of moving to see. They're saving money by drinking a beer at home instead, but they're still tipping on what they would have experienced. And that's been a really cool way to see people support our bartenders and our breweries. But really, that's the number one thing, is to just purchase to-go beer, purchase merchandise, and purchase gift cards.
So they can purchase gift cards on your website. Is that right?
We don't have the brewery's gift cards on our website, but if you wanted to support Knox Brew Tours, we do have gift cards on our website. One of the things is our goal at Knox Brew Tours is to be your backstage pass to local beer. So we've done about 9 of them so far, where we have done digital tours and tastings of breweries. And we interview the brewers, we show you behind the scenes, we check out the space, and we're doing all those for free and just asking people for donations for that as well. So, it's challenging. The breweries and the restaurants are obviously being negatively impacted, but one silver lining is that there's still an avenue for them to sell their products. The tourism industry and special events industry, however, doesn't have that opportunity at all. The only saving grace that we've had at Knox Brew Tours is that we own vehicles that are licensed and have insured drivers, and we've been able to provide a delivery service for our breweries for their food and for their beer. But we're on it together, and I know that Knoxville's got our back and is going to continue to support us because it's a town that when you pour into it, it pours back into you, and it's a really great place to be right now. And sorry, I went off track there a little bit, but I appreciate it.
Perfect.
That's good. That's exactly what we're all about. That I had a conversation with a big brand right now this morning that I'm sure they have money, and like I said, hey, you know what? We're not about money right now. We want to get people on. We want to get the conversation. We want to keep people's spirits up, but most importantly, we want to support those guys and women that are doing the right thing right now to keep the communities going. And we'll worry about money later. I have a lot of faith. That kind of like you said, I can't remember what you just said that as far as the pouring it in, but if we all work together, then stuff will work itself out. And there'll be some bad stuff, and it won't necessarily be an equal thing, but you got to work together. I think that's one of the things like Ashley's doing right now. That I'm sure she'd rather be flying. She'd rather be eating those delicious Bischoff cookies and grabbing whatever she can from the Polaris section up in the front of the plane. But she's smiling and she's making some great masks right now. So, what are some of the masks that you're making? You showed the Miller Lite mask earlier.
Yeah. So my buddy. He was like, hey, if I give you this handkerchief, can you make a mask out of it? And I need to iron it. I'd have to be walking around, so I haven't done that yet, but it looks pretty good. I mean, there's a little Miller Lite can. How cute is that? But yeah, like some of the ones that I made for you guys, it's like a camo. I have had so many people want this mask, so if nobody wants it, like I have a fan club already. Like several people. I have another one of those I need to make. This one I made out of a Deep Eddy handkerchief, similar to this, but it's a little different material. But, actually, since snowboarding didn't happen, it was made out of, like, one of those snowboarding. So, like, the neck thing. So, like, I made it out of that. So I have several of these because I promote Deep Eddy. And then, as Kevin said, I'm from a state that starts with the T. And shout out to my Dallas Cowboys. And if y'all aren't, I'm taking this. I'm going to keep it because I like their biggest fan.
Is that so we can't tell that you're a Cowboys fan by hiding half your face?
Oh, yeah. No. If you know anything about me, I'm a huge Cowboys fan.
I love that.
To say the least.
I literally have a star on my car in California. It's right out there.
So I tell you what, we're going to be giving away. Is it 3 masks or is it 2 masks or 1 mask? 3 masks. So the way to win is we are going to be picking a winner. All you need to do is go to the YouTube channel for MenWhoBlog, which you can also go to MenWhoBlog.com, click on the video, and it'll pop up. So comment on the Knoxville Brew Tour video on our YouTube channel. And I'll post that URL in just a second as Ashley is showing some of the masks she's doing. So comment on that page. If you want to subscribe, that would be awesome. We're not requiring you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, but definitely comment, tell us which mask you want. And then we are going to be drawing, you said 3 winners?
Yeah, 3 winners. I'm
3
trying
winners.
to hold them all.
And the first winner is going to get their first choice. Second winner gets their second choice. And the third winner gets their third choice. So all of you guys who are Dallas Cowboys fans, make sure you go comment. And if you're not a Dallas Cowboy fan, then comment anyhow so that you can take that and burn it. We prefer or donate it.
Hey, James.
So
Can I give away 2 Knox Brew Tours tickets as well to whoever wins first place?
yeah, absolutely. So here we go. Right, we're giving away 3 masks, and the first 2 that we draw are going to get Knox Brew Tours tickets as well. So make sure you go to the Facebook page. I'm going to go throw the URL up in just a second. I'm going to switch over to Ashley so she can show you a close up of those masks, and then I'm going to pull up the URL.
Hard when they're like folded to see what they would look like on. And, like, I have this computer sideways. So here, and everyone's always like, I need you to go horizontal. Well, for this, I need to go vertical.
We're going vertical.
We're going vertical. So, like, yeah. So it's a bigger mask, but I always fold it under. So this one looks like this. It's really hard on backwards. So this is the idea of what it looks like. There we go. There's this one, Deep Betty. The camera one, fan favorite. I have pigtails, so it's a little hard, y'all. All right. So there is a wire and the nose piece, so you could fit it, however. And then you tie it in the back and the bottom. And then cowboys. So it fans out a little bit, And I fold the bottom because I have a small face, so, this is really hard to do. So, yeah. You get the idea, right? You get the idea?
I think that looks great. I'm still struggling with trying to get the. Oh, here it goes. Link has been edited.
I also sent you a picture of them, so.
Okay, so.
But yeah, cowboy.
The URL is. There we go. So comment for a chance to win on bit.ly/WinKnox. And that'll take you right to our YouTube video version of this live stream. Share it with all your friends. And like I said, we're having 3 winners. The first winner is going to get their first choice of the mask, plus Zach, you say 2 tickets to Knox Brew Tours. And the second winner is going to get their second choice of masks, and also 2 tickets. And then the third person is going to get the last of Ashley's awesome masks. We really appreciate that, and I know people love to win. So there we go.
Good luck.
Zack's got to scoot out, right, Zack? Zack, you got to scoot out?
Yes, we are going to do a celebration bus for someone's 50th birthday at 6 p.m. right around the corner. His lovely wife gave us tons of details. Apparently, he is a huge Rush fan and a huge Tennessee football fan. So we've got a bunch of musical instruments and wigs, and we're going to lip sync a Rush song. And then we are going to be playing John Ward's 1998 radio call of the Tennessee-Florida game at the very end, where Florida missed the field goal for Tennessee to win. And we're going to be reenacting it in the front lawn. And the news is going to be filming it, and it's going to be a total shit show, and I'm looking forward to it.
John Ward.
That's awesome.
We're just trying to, put smiles on people's faces and try to make the world as normal as we can during this, unnormal time. And if we can make goofballs of ourselves from a distance and that helps somebody celebrate their birthday, then darn it, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, definitely cheers to that. Cheers to making goofballs of all of ourselves and trying new things. And
cheers, y'all. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on to talk about Knoxville beer. It's a really special town, and and I mean this politely from the bottom of my heart. If any of you all come here and you don't tell me, I will find out and I will hurt you. Okay?
He won't hurt you. He'll hug you and he'll do a cheers to give you a beer. That's why.
So next time you can make it.
That's good on
Sounds
Knoxville.
good.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Cheers, buddy.
So, like always, we have exceeded our estimated 1 hour. You know, Kevin, I think we should just change the running time when we pitch the show to saying, you know, instead of 45 minutes to an hour, we should say an hour to 2 hours.
Well, I think, but we got, you know what, I've been watching some other shows and there are 2 or 3 people on it, but we've got, you know, 5 or 6 people on it. We have great music on all the time. I mean, I'm just blown away by Evie and her violin. It's really bringing the, you know, good old Tennessee back to my heart, you know, and I was getting chills. So, matter of fact, the first time I got a computer up on a TV bar and I was wanting to stop, but I know it would shake the camera. So just really loving having her on. And Tom, you add a lot of depth to what we do. Pep Club, but actually, of course, adds many elements.
My pleasure.
And then I know we have some other shows coming up. Kevin, what do we have coming up on Thursday?
We have a very special show coming from Gabby's apartment, mainly. She's their resident bartendress. So she's going to be making up some drinks. We're actually going to feature her for a couple of reasons, because she's actually going in and working, making cocktails to go in Southern California at the resident bar that she does. And she's going to talk about maybe some of the stuff like Zack talked about, and what you can do for bartenders these days, what bartenders are doing. Some people are kind of bursting at the seams. Maybe some places will have some soft openings up, you know, maybe what people can expect, you know, once a bar does open up here in the hopefully not too a distant future. Just going to be making a couple of craft cocktails. And also we have scheduled to go there. We have KCBS, Channel 2 in Los Angeles, and KCAL, Channel 9 in Los Angeles. They're to do a story on her, filming her during the show. And they're going to do a story on our show and on Gabby as well. So we're going to actually feature Gabby as a resident bartender on there. Ashley's now good pals with her. So I'm glad those two hooked up. We'll have Ashley back on, I hope. And we'll be drinking. James, what is our cocktail of the day on Thursday?
I think we're going to be doing some Old Camp whiskey.
Yes.
Which is is it a pecan whiskey, I believe it is?
Let me get my bottle and I'll show you. If I don't look everything here.
Considering how awesome they've been with talking with, I probably should have had that bottle with me right now, but it's they are a distillery partner with Florida Georgia Line, and I had it a few years ago when it first came out. It was pretty good. It's definitely sweeter, but it's the kind of whiskey you could drink on the back of your tailgate while you're sitting in a field somewhere, or at a concert. So let's put you on full there. So it is is it a peach pecan whiskey?
Yes, it is. And as you can see, after arrived, I've already gone to the trouble of tasting it.
Quality control.
We're doing quality control here on the virtual happy hour. So I actually had to sample this to make sure it was just up to the virtual happy hour standards. And let me tell you that it is. So really enjoyed that. So I guess that'll be our featured beverage on Thursday. We're planning our Cinco de Mayo show. We're going to go have a visit Costa Mesa. Come on, and they're going to wear sombreros. We've got a bartender for that. We've got some local music for that as well. That's coming up on Cinco de Mayo, which is the 5th.
And we're probably going to be drinking some El Imador.
Yes.
Yeah. I had a conversation with them, and our folks at Brown Forman. I know Tom mentioned Brown Forman. I think last show they also are the home of Woodford, I believe.
Yes.
But they also have some great tequilas. Herradura is one of my favorites. I love. Truthfully, I love tequila in general, so I'm not exclusive to any one, but I definitely love Herradura. But the interesting thing about tequila, and we're going to be talking about this on that show as well, is that there's different tequilas for different markets, and this is obviously true for rum and whiskey as well. But originally I wanted Herradura, and they're like, well, we're doing something that's kind of a celebration of fun. We're mixing stuff, not necessarily looking for a sipping experience on Cinco de Mayo. So instead of Herradura, we're going to be doing El Imador, I believe, and El Imador is a little bit lower price, so it's the kind of thing you can just sort of don't have to worry about sipping. You don't have to worry about mixing and that kind of stuff. Or I don't want to say it's lower quality, but it's you can just enjoy it. It's a fiesta. It's a fiesta kind of tequila, and so we're gonna be doing that. But I'm excited about that next Tuesday. I think we're doing Traverse City. So next Tuesday we're doing Traverse whiskey, and we have a cherry whiskey that I have, and you have a rye. Is it a rye whiskey or is it a bourbon that you have, Kevin?
Let me get that too. And by the way, you mentioned cherries earlier. We have to have cherry. We have bourbon-soaked cherries, right? Right, James?
Actually, I was a little bit disappointed that the cherries are not. They're whiskey cherries, but it says contains no alcohol.
What?
So I'm not entirely sure how. I've heard that gets a big no from Evie.
It's like,
Why even have them then?
don't have champagne. It's like, no, I'm like, what? Then they're not champagne gummy bears.
But they are probably some of the best cherries in the world because they came from northern Michigan. So
those do look good.
We got some really exciting stuff coming up.
Yeah, they have some nice stuff.
So it is a bourbon, a straight bourbon whiskey. So we got some exciting stuff. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to start publicizing what we're going to be drinking at the different episodes. Because what I would love for you guys to do is I would love for you guys, and not just you guys on the screen. I don't know why I'm just pointing at the camera because everybody's there. But I would love to start doing some cheers where you guys at home are able to go out to order on Drizzly or Instacart or wherever your favorite thing is. Or I guess in theory, go out to the stores and buy these bottles, buy these spirits that we're going to be drinking, so you can drink along with us at home. I know that's one of the things we've been doing a lot of ad hoc, that things kind of come up and we do them live. But I would love to be able to extend what we're doing online here to the community as a whole. So with that being said, I think we'll probably just wrap up a little bit. And so make sure you follow us. MenWhoBlog.com for more information. We've got it on the front page there, as well as you can always follow us on MenWhoBlog on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and absolutely make sure you follow us on YouTube, especially this time because you can win one of Ashley's masks and tickets for Knox Brew Tours. So just do a quick around the horn wrap up. I'm gonna shut up now, and we'll start with Ashley, Tom, Evie, and then Kevin. So any final words? Or not final words, but wrap up words.
Pick out which one you want. First come, first serve, y'all. Win some tickets, win some masks. Stay safe and well out there. And even though they might be opening things sooner than later on things, I'm pretty sure they're going to still require masks. So might as well get a free one made with my, love, sweat, and tears. No, and I washed them. Don't worry. But yeah. No, I mean, it's been fun. I mean, it sucks, work being cut and not flying as much and whatever. But I don't know. It's kind of bringing out my crafty side, my my artsy side, and having time to do something like this, and like relearning how to sew and fighting constantly with my machine, sewing machine, and learning how to fix it and stuff. It's kind of been a challenge, daily challenge, but in a good way. And so I think y'all really enjoy these. And do not burn the Cowboys. Only vote for the Cowboys. Fan. Don't listen to James.
Now,
He's so sad.
And
a picture of it burning too, James. No.
And just to clarify, if you are a Cowboys hater, please don't burn the mask. In all seriousness, if you don't want anybody else to have it, win it, pick it, and donate it to your local hospital. Because I'm sure even the most ardent, whoever fan, even will appreciate that rather than going without a mask. So, please don't burn it. Donate to somebody who you love, who you want to protect.
Yes.
Cool.
Tom, you're up.
As always, really a fun time joining all of you, and Evie, nice hearing your music and having some taste of Tennessee, which is not too far away from me. So many great breweries, so many great musicians. I just interviewed someone from Memphis last night, a distiller named Alex Castle, and she's a distiller at Old Dominic. So that was nice. So just so many great spirits being made there, and it's just Tennessee is such a special place and very special to me. But tonight, always love being here with you guys. Tonight I'll be doing my nightly live show on Bourbon Blog's Facebook, and tonight I'll be interviewing Cardinal Spirits out of Bloomington, Indiana, at 8 p.m. Eastern, and tomorrow night Plantation Rum, which is a rum I really enjoy. You like their yeah? So I'll have them on tomorrow night. So, fun to jump on here and see some friendly faces, and just to have a great drink with you all. And thanks for everybody watching, and stay well and keep on drinking good stuff. Right.
All right.
That's a Tom. What is your Facebook? It's Bourbon Blog.
Bourbon Blog. Facebook.
Bourbon Blog.
Amazingly, it's Bourbon Blog Co. So it's facebook.com/bourbonblog.co. Somehow the Bourbon Blog was taken.
Well, let me take that shit down then.
All right. No, I've tried. It's funny. It's some kind of inactive page. So go to Bourbon Blog Co. or just go to bourbonblog.com and you'll find our links. But bourbonblog.co. And then we're doing it on Twitter too, streaming there. So
we'll throw that back up there
we're in some great places and continuing to have some sips throughout the day. Oh, there it is.
There. Ah, what the heck?
David, we're going to practice so much. We're going to have this down on TV stations and want us by the end of this for their.
Well, you know what? I think that we'll just have to go to
bourbonblog.com.
Facebook.com/bourbonblog.
Enjoying all of you.
Sounds good.
Thank you, buddy.
Evie, and then Evie, it looks like you still got your fiddle in there. I know we already
I don't know how to be without it. Without it.
To have you play, so go ahead.
Well, I mean, we've been talking about Knoxville so much, so I feel like I've just got to do a little Rocky Top.
Yeah.
Might wonder why I'm playing Rocky Top when talking about Knoxville. It's because that's what we do at every game for not just football, everything. It's the unofficial thing of the Vols.
National East Tennessee of maybe the entire state, but certainly UT athletics. So I have nothing to add to that because that's nothing. Thank you. That's freaking awesome. I cannot top that. Thank you. Awesome.
Well, thank you guys for having me, man. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about all the good things that are happening down here in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's not my hometown, but it's my home now, and it's where I'm going to be for a good while. And it's funny, Tom, you were talking about Old Dominic. I actually have a buddy that just is moving from Old Dominic. So I had to look up. He's moving to Nashville to Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery.
Too. That's great.
Yeah, so it was funny. I was like, "Hey, I know Old Dominic."
Yeah, it's a great place, and Nelson's is nice too. Really great place.
Well, I tell you what, Evie, you mentioned before we came on, and you just mentioned just now that Knoxville is not your hometown, but it's your town you live in now. You told me you're actually from North Dakota. So
born and raised.
Do you have any North Dakota songs or whatever? Like if we did a episode talking about some of the craft beer, and I don't know if I'm sure it's distilling up there.
There is, man. Actually, I know a good number of some crafter folks in my hometown in Minot. I have a buddy that just started a great brewery up there, and so.
And I know there's a couple of good craft breweries in Williston. Williston is a funky town.
Yeah, and then there's some good ones in Bismarck too. There's a great in Bismarck. It's called Laughing Sun, and my buddy Nick that just started one.
I've been there.
In Minot, they're just a brand new one, and then Fargo has a bunch too. So yeah, there's lots of good beer happening up in North Dakota as well.
Well, I tell you what, Kevin, Kevin is the master of scheduling. So should we do a North Dakota episode of the MenWhoBlog Virtual Happy Hour?
We'll bring that back on. We don't have your email address, I don't think. So in the comments here on our page, can you just give us your email address so we can sure and have it? I have her on again. I know nothing about North Dakota except the college team is the Bison, and they wear yellow. Is that correct? Game Day went there one time, right, and was blown away by it.
Twice. Game Day's come twice because we have won 8 championships in the last 9 years. I went to NDSU for a couple of years.
They're a powerhouse in what used to be called a bowl subdivision. It used to be 1AA, so they're just right below, the main level. But they're a powerhouse in their division. And ESPN Game Day has been there twice, and just listen to them talk. They were blown away by the North Dakota experience. I think they're the biggest crowd for college game that they ever had. So I'd love to do a North Dakota story. And
I'm going to have to get you some Dots pretzels, Kevin.
Oh, did you know now, James, that they make chocolate bars with Dots in it?
Oh, Dots does, or somebody else makes them?
Yeah, no, Dots does.
Well, Dots people that are watching this, hopefully, probably not, but hopefully, you need to send some of that. So we're going to have some craft beer, some craft whatever spirits. And North Dakota actually has quite a few wineries too, which people are like, wineries, North Dakota. But I think what it is, it's so damn cold up there, and there's not a lot to do besides drink and all that. Like after a certain amount of time, you can only play so much football, and you can only fish so much. But both those activities actually involve drinking. So
well, what are you gonna do when you're sitting in the ice house?
Exactly.
For those of you that are from Texas that don't know what a ice house is, it's a house that you go sit on in the middle of a frozen lake and hope you don't fall through while fishing.
Well, while drinking with a hole.
Yeah, and then of course you're sitting in the middle of a frozen lake. What else are you gonna do but drink?
Yeah.
Hope you don't.
It is no ice house.
But Texas has ice houses. That's where you buy beer and you sit on a picnic table.
Yeah. Well, anyhow, I don't want to turn this into a half episode special event for North Dakota, because the guys at Knoxville were really awesome at working with us and helping us set everything up. So thank you definitely to the Knoxville CVB people. Make sure you go to visitknoxville.com. Definitely awesome for introducing Evie to us. Zach and I had to leave. But thank you for joining us, Evie. We will definitely have you back. As long as you're willing, as long as you're not going to go off and be like, man, those guys were a bunch of wackadoodles. Those freaking California people.
Have me.
Cool. Well, Kevin, do you have anything left? And then I'm just going to go and hit end broadcast, and we'll get ready for our awesome episode with Old Camp on Thursday.
I'm just going to replay the show to the end and hear her play Rocky Top again. That's all I've got on my agenda right now.
Sounds good. Actually, for those of you guys, I might just take that clip and put it up on my Instagram as well. That was really good.
That was awesome. I'm going to go watch some Hee Haw reruns too.
There you go.
Sounds good, guys. Alrighty, have a great day. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you on Thursday at 1:30. Bye-bye.
Cheers, guys.